Salutations, spooks, spirits, and specters, and welcome back to more Senran Kagura Shinovi verses as we wrap up Gessen's Chapter 2. Asuka is Hanzo's granddaughter, and I am Kurokage's granddaughter. The battle ahead is a showdown between the granddaughters of two legendary shinobi. It was about 10 years ago when I met my grandfather for the first time at my parents' funeral. The service was held at a small funeral hall in the mountains. Over and over, people I had never met told me how great my parents were as a shinobi. I didn't want to hear that. No amount of praise would bring my parents back to life. What I wanted to know was why they were dead. Nobody answered that question. I went off alone outside the hall when a man with a face all covered in scars walked towards me.
両親の死んだ理由を知りたいか?
He was a stranger to me, but I wasn't afraid. I gave him a nod.
知りたければ俺についてこい。お前を忍びにしてやる。
I nodded again, without any hesitation.
ならば、今日からお前の忍び名はユミだ。
あなたの名前は？
俺の名は黒影。お前の祖父だ。
As soon as we reached his house in a small mountain village, we started training.
命がけで修行をしなければ実戦で生き残ることはできん。
His training was harsh, potentially even deadly. I survived only through my own sheer will, my singular desire to become a shinobi. If I succeeded, I knew I could find out why my parents died, who killed them, where those people are now, and when they sleep. My only goal in life was to become a shinobi as quickly as possible. Of course, that was then. In retrospect, I was far too eager for achievement and far too impatient to earn it. 1 year after I started training, I learned to wield the same secret ninja art my grandfather used.
おじい様、この力、見てください。これだけの力があれば、復讐だって簡単です。そう、私は何でもできる。
While I shouted and jumped with excitement, he walked toward me without a word and slapped me across the cheek. After that, he stopped letting me train. Instead, he taught me other things. I learned how to cultivate crops and vegetables, the names of the stars in the sky, and all about Japanese history and mythology. Each subject was interesting in its own right, and I know the importance of a good education and practical skills. But it left me unsatisfied. My desires hadn't changed. I wanted to train. I constantly wondered when he would see reason and let me train again. I must have been very unpleasant to be around back then. One day, when I was picking wild grass in a field, I suddenly felt something cold pressed against my cheek. I cried out a little and found my grandfather standing behind me.
疲れただろう。少し休め。
Is this not Habijo Clandestine Girls Academy? Or maybe that's just another random palace out in the countryside. He brought a cup of shaved ice for me. I sat down in the grass and took a spoonful of the ice. A cold, sweet flavor spread through my mouth.
お前は俺に似ている。
He sat down next to me.
力をつけて強くなれば全てが解決すると思っている。
強ければ何でもできます。
My lips must have been so pouty as I said that. He reached down and patted me on the head.
この世は強さだけでは解決しないことばかりだ。
そうでしょうか。
He cracked a smile and stood up. Then he drew his kodachi and took a battle stance.
秘伝忍法国標。
When my grandfather wielded his kodachi, a mass of black energy swirled into the sky. The energy flooded out from his body until the sky grew dark as dusk. With that power, I was certain he could take down an army. His black ice made my secret ninja art look like a child's magic trick. I was so amazed that I dropped the shaved ice.
これだけの力があっても俺はお前に会うことができなかった。
どういう意味ですか？
お前の母は俺のことを何も話さなかったはずだ。
It was true. I hadn't even known I had a living grandfather until after my mother died. Why hadn't she ever told me about her father?
力は絶対に正しいわけではない。それがわからない者が力を持てば俺のようになる。
He roughly stroked my head, his eyes lonely.
だから俺が教えてやる。力の意味を。
The next day, we started training again. His training was as harsh as before, and it built me up day by day. Strangely, I felt as if my mind grew calmer and calmer the stronger I became. I never really understood why. As my power grew, I considered how to use it, what to use it for. Avenging my parents seemed petty and personal. No, I wanted to use my strength for a greater ideal. I bowed before my grandfather and asked him,
力の使い道、私に示していただけるでしょうか？
He closed his eyes. Quietly, he told me everything about his training as a good shinobi and about how he became to be a renegade. By the time he had finished his story, I had already made up my mind. I would use my power to carry on his dream and create a world without evil. That is why I cannot tolerate Asuka. She calls herself good, but she keeps company with evil. That is a weakness of character, a failure of moral courage. If I looked the other way, I'd be just as guilty. When I burn away evil, I'll throw her false goodness into the fire. This is no simple family grudge between us. This is a war that transcends generations.
アスカさん、あなたは悪人と仲良くしているそうですね。仲良くっていうか、ライバルだよ。ライバルですか。 ではその悪人をあなたは殺せますか？殺す必要なんてないよ。お互いに分かり合えることだっていっぱいあるし。善人と悪人は相反する存在。分かり合う必要など皆無です。どうやら伝説の忍びは孫の教育を間違えたようですね。じっちゃんのことを悪く言わないで。じっちゃんは私に大切なことをいっぱい教えてくれたんだから。私のおじい様も大切なことを教えてくれました。悪を根絶し善だけの正しい世界を作る。それがこの世界から涙をなくす唯一の方法だと。私は違いを受け止められない世界に笑顔は生まれないと思ってるよ。それはつまり悪を受け止めるということですか？くだらない。全くお話になりませんね。くだらなくないよ。だってあなたと議論する気はありません。どちらの主義主張が正しいのか、それは忍びらしく戦いで証明すればいいことです。
I'm always reminded of good accepts few, evil accepts all. Every single time Yumi opens her mouth like that. Here we go. I will toy with you for now. I can do that too. Here we go. Oof, dodged it. This is how you juggle. How dare you?
すべては正義のために。
Oh, I always pay for toying with my enemy.
Nani? 情けないぞ、アスカ。ホムラちゃん、どうして？どうしたもこうしたもない。学園祭が開かれるという噂を聞いてきてみれば、私以外の人間に負けることは許さないと言ったはずだぞ。まだやられてないよ。これからがいいところだったんだから。ふん、威勢だけは失ってないようだな。随分と仲がよろしいのですね。仲がいい？勘違いするな。アスカは私のライバルだ。いつか私が倒すべき存在だ。倒すべき存在をなぜ助けたのですか？ここで死なれたら私が困るからな。私は私のために行動したまでだ。物は言いようですね。善と悪が交わっているという事実に変わりはありません。お前はやけに悪を憎んでいるようだな。当然です。悪をこの世から駆逐する、それが私の使命なのです。ふん、好きにすればいい。しかし悪のない世界には善も存在しないぞ。どういう意味です？言葉の通りさ。悪の詭弁に傾ける耳はありません。アスカさん、今日は邪魔が入りました。決着は次回に、学園祭の本番で。あの方に顔向けできない。
It's okay. It's my fault again. I was toying with Asuka. I was playing.
忍びの極みに一歩近づきました。新たな技をひらめきました。
No, we're gonna go straight back to the ninja room.
おかえり。おかえり。
So we're on the chapter 3, so let's go ahead and get the new dialogue, right? Minori. Did you know my bucket is magic? See, first I take an ingredient out of my hamster backpack and put it in the bucket, and then... Ta-da! I can make all kinds of candy that way. Neat, huh? I did not expect my opponent to be the daughter of the Ho-Oh corporate organization. It brings back many terrible memories. I wish I could just disappear. I wonder if my brothers and sisters are doing all right. They all got adopted by Shinobi, extended family of mine, so they might grow up to be Shinobi too. I don't want that for them, though. It's dangerous work. That's why we were all adopted in the first place. Shiki.
うーん
Yagi's devil's eye. At first, I just thought her eye patch was cute, but I really want to know about her power now. Her devil's eye is a mystery, and I'm going to solve it.
どれにいたしましょう。これにいたしましょう。交代です。四季さん。はいはい。了解。
And what does Yumi have to say?
はい。
We will settle accounts with Hanzo another day, when there are not quite so many interruptions. Good Shinobi, rescued by evil Shinobi. They should all be ashamed. When I finish them off, they'll defile the name of good no longer. Alright, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So thank you all very much for watching, and ciao for now. Ciao for now.